learning through informal and formal data. I want it to be achievable, so progress monitoring, I want it to be relevant, I want it to be curriculum-based instruction, and this will be weekly. So my goal based off this CSTP is that I will be able to measure my students' learning by using formal and informal data to progress monitor my students on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So I think I picked this goal because with IEPs, we're always focusing on short-term objectives and goals, and I want to be able to incorporate that into my planning. Okay. Right? I want it to hit the standards, but also I want it to be touching on their IEP goals. I want them to always be making progress towards their IEP goals, and I want to be able to have data that backs that up as well.
So this specific lesson, when you're looking at your CSTP 4.2, is it that you're saying? Or no,
4.2, 4.3.
So this part of this lesson is you collecting data then for the goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For their goals. Mm-hmm.
And is that specifically the goals in reading and writing?
Comprehension.
Okay, comprehension. Okay.
Goals. All my students have a comprehension goal.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that with this lesson and future lessons, I can take this data, which will be informal. It's not going to be, formal, but I want to be able to take the data and look at it and progress monitor my students to see, okay, where are they at and what do I need to focus on in future and where are they at?
Okay. So is that primarily reading, or are you going to incorporate writing too?
So I think probably not in tomorrow's lesson, but moving forward,
to build on.
I would definitely want to incorporate. I always try to incorporate a writing component of each story that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just takes time because I want to be building on. I want to build up their knowledge before, because I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm them with writing assignments before they have a concrete understanding of the story.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
And then we start out every lesson with phonics, so we always do a quick phonics review just to kind of get them.
Which builds on that.
Right. Get them going.
Perfect. Okay, and then your CSTP 5.
Mm-hmm. So CSTP 5 is assessing students for learning. So I focused on 5.3 and 5.4.
Okay.
So my goal is that I will be able to review informal and formal assessment data, both individually and with colleagues, in order to monitor student learning and progress. So I want to look at assessment data to write learning goals that are appropriate and then plan, differentiate, and accommodate as needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes in turn with working with the gen ed teacher and seeing just the data that I'm getting, back up the data that they're getting while they're in class, and kind of work together to make sure that these goals are appropriate for them. Because if I ever see a goal that I'm like, this isn't where they're at, or this is too hard, or this is too easy, I want to be able to have data to back it up and then change it as
and align it to where they should be, bridging gaps.
So I'm always challenging them, but I'm not. He flew slowly, and then he flew. What's that last word? That word says steadily. Steadily. Great job. All right, next page. Great reading. We have a couple more pages. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and read, and then I'll finish off. Okay?
She was hungry again. She found a garden of red roses. She sipped nectar all morning. When she looked into the sky, Heron was nowhere around. Heron must have given up. Hummingbird said happily, I am about to win. I will drink some more nectar.
So what's happening? Can someone tell me what's happening right now? Yes.
So what's happening is he thinks he's won, but
Who thinks he won?
him.
Okay.
And then he kept drinking more nectar, which leaves some time for the heron to go win the race.
Is Heron gonna win the race, or do we think the hummingbird's gonna win the race? Okay, we're gonna find out. We're gonna flip to the next page. You think hummingbird? Oh, I think he would be right. Let's see. We're on page 14. It says hummingbird did not get to the far side of the lake until the afternoon. Heron was sitting in a tree. Hummingbird was flabbergasted. He's shocked. I love that. What do you think? What do you think?
I was gonna say surprise.
Surprised. Those are both really good words. He was flabbergasted. Why did he feel like that?
Ooh. Because he didn't win the race.
Right, because he saw the heron there and he's like, what? I'm so confused. How did you beat me, right? Let's see what happens. It says, how did you beat me? I'm faster than you. I'm smarter than you. Hummingbird exclaimed. Heron was not surprised.
Excuse me?
You are? Really? Then why did you rest so much? I flew all day. I flew all night. You wasted your time sipping nectar. Hummingbird did not know what to say except, I guess you win. On the last page it says, from that day on, herons have owned all the rivers and lakes, eating all of the fish. And hummingbirds have only fed on what?
Ooh.
Nectar.
So who won the race?
Ooh.
Who won?
The heron.
And what did he get because he won?
The lake.
The lakes and the rivers, and what does he get to eat?
Ooh. Fish.
What does he get to eat?
Nectar.
The heron?
No.
The fish, and the hummingbird only gets to eat what?
Fish.
Are you sure?
Nectar. Yeah.
Nectar, right? That's why hummingbirds drink nectar. Do you have a question? What's your question?
He should have probably still. He probably shouldn't have had a race. He could have still gotten fish.
So what do you think? You said something before we started reading about what you thought would have been a better idea for them to share the fish. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Cause heron eats too much fish.
Okay. So that was the problem, right? And what do you think could have been a better solution than them having this race?
Sharing.
You think they could have shared? Does anyone agree with him? Raise your hand if you think that's a good idea, that they should have just shared.
Ooh. And also I have a question.
You think so? What's your question?
My question is that why can't they just like save some? Like why can't one person have the lake for each day like that?
That's a very interesting point, right? You thought they could have switched off maybe?
Yeah.
Like one day you get all the fish, they would have had to figure out what else to eat though, right? But those are really good ideas, I like those. Okay, so do we remember compare and contrast? Raise your hand if you remember what that means. We should all be raising our hand because we just talked about it. Yes, what does compare and contrast mean? Or what does compare mean?
The same.
Compare means what?
Things are about something.
Okay. Yes, I like where you're going with that. Can you add to what he said?
So compared is like something that we have in common.
Oh, I love that you use the word common. Another word for common is
Similar.
similar, right? We're looking for things that are similar, so we always say, okay, let's compare our outfits, right? We're both wearing what color?
Black.
Like we're comparing our outfits, we're both wearing black, okay? What about contrast? What does that mean? Daniel, can you tell me what you think contrast means? If compare means we're looking for similarities, what would contrast mean? Let's let him take a turn and then he can call in someone if he doesn't know. I think he knows. Just give it a guess. If compare is looking for things that are in common or similar, what would the opposite of similar mean? Give it your best guess. Would you like to call in somebody else? Okay. Who are you gonna call in? Okay. Things that are, what did he say? Daniel, what did he say? Things that are different. So if I'm contrasting, I'm looking for things that are different. Okay, so you all should have a sticky note. It's either pink, blue, or yellow, right? Raise your hand if your sticky note says hummingbird. Should be 2 people. Thank you. If your sticky note says hummingbird, your job is to go into the story and find a couple of characteristics about the hummingbird. It could be where he lives, job is if you're sticky note says Heron.
I know that we'll put the find something in the book that like they like eat and drink.
Who though?
The heron.
Right, so if your sticky note says Heron, you're looking for characteristics about the heron. So what they look like, what they eat, where they live, anything about the heron. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, what if your sticky note says both? It should be 3 of you. Thank you. Yes, what do you do if your sticky note says both?
What stuff that are the same about them?
That they have in what? In common, right? So what do the heron and the hummingbird have, excuse me, in common? Do we remember this? What is this called? When you have 2 circles like this. I'll give someone a sticker if they can tell me what this is called. It starts with a V. Can you put your foot down before I call you? Yes.
What? Rotation?
Not quite. Anyone else? Yeah.
Vocab?
Not quite.
What does it start with?
A V.
What starts at the end?
I'm gonna tell you. It's a Venn diagram. Do you guys remember?
That's
You
a
don't
long
remember?
word.
Can you say it? Venn diagram.
The guy.
Ooh, let's try that again. Okay.
Friend, or you're cleaning up, or something. You're being responsible. You're
Right,
looking after your
right.
materials. Oh, here's a pot.
Well, and I
right.
think every teacher needs a classroom incentive,
Mhm.
like of some sort. Like you
Right.
need something for your buy-in in
Right.
your day-to-day, and especially when you have students who have more behavioral needs,
Mhm.
which I know you do in that class. But I do think that like you should utilize your PBIS and you
Yeah.
should utilize those pause
Right.
because, especially at their age, they're willing to buy into that, and
Right.
those are really valuable
Right.
to them. And so, and it just kind of takes a little bit of pressure off of you.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
having
oh,
to
one
do
less thing.
one less thing you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Like it's already kind of
Yeah.
been done for you.
Yeah.
So,
I'll keep it in mind. I'll keep them next to my projector so I can
okay.
remind
And
myself.
honestly, like I carry a pack around with
Yeah.
me just to make sure that I'm utilizing them.
It's smart.
So yeah, for your CSTP, you have 4.2, 4.4, establishing and articulating goals for student learning, planning instruction that incorporates appropriate strategies to meet the needs of all students. And I saw that in there. From you had the post-it notes where they could write up. You had them going up on the Venn diagram. You were also helping them with different pages of like kind of scaffolding that and helping them find it, looking at the page,
right.
not telling where the answer was, but what to go to kind of guide them and
Right.
to make them, successful, which is our goal,
The balance,
right?
right? It's hard, but
it is a balance. It's a really really hard balance to do with special education students to
Mhm.
find that balance of, the
I
we
do,
do,
yeah,
yes.
yes. the
And
model.
so when it's you do, it's a really hard balance to say it's no longer we do, it's you
You
do.
by yourself,
But I
right,
think,
right.
and as the year progresses, we give that a little bit more, which is natural,
Right.
and that happens in a gen ed classroom as well. And so I think that you did a fantastic job of being able to do that, and even within the lesson where you were challenging some of your lower students to do both characters, and I thought that was a great transition for them. And it was definitely less of a we do and more of a you do.
Right,
So
I want them to be independent, but it's also like I know I need to be providing the right amount of scaffolding so that they can be independent. And that's always I think that's always something I reflect on when I'm teaching. I'm like, okay, who needs this and who needs that and who can go do this really without as much support, right? Because I feel like that's my goal for them is that I want them to be successful without me, walking them through it as much. And I think I'm
Right.
seeing a lot of them go on that path, which is really great.
Okay. And I just wanted to point out too, when we were talking about, it wasn't one of your areas for me to look
Okay.
at, but we do it every day. These CSTPs are focusing
Right.
on just the whole child and the whole learning.
Right.
And I really felt like for our CSTP too, creating and maintaining effective environments for student learning, especially like creating physical, virtual learning environments that promote student learning, reflect diversity, and encouraging constructing productive interactions among students. I really felt like what you were doing, having them get up, having them move around,